Well, America is at a crossroads, and there's something weird about the Republican Party. They say they want law and order, yet they back the January the 6th events. They say they want the Constitution that the entire country is built on, and yet many of them follow a man who clearly wants to destroy it. They say they want liberty, but they want to lock up those who disagree with them. They say they want democracy, but they introduce systems to stop people who may not vote for them from voting. They say they are pro-women's rights, but spend much of their time trying to take those rights away. They pray for a strong economy, but when they have one, it's never enough. They want praise without cause, reward without effort, power without reason, and prizes without even competing. I think what I'm trying to say here is that there's a large faction, maybe it's an entire iteration of the Republican Party who are, and I hate to get geeky or nerdy, but I'm going to use some jargon here, so technical terming coming, there's an iteration of the Republican Party who are full of shit. Now, the Republicans have had some fine people in the past. It was Lincoln, Reagan, Cleveland, Grant, Johnson, Eisenhower. You may not have agreed with them, but they had gravitas. They had stature. When they gave counsel, the world listened, and listened well. And yes, there were bad ones too, questionable men whose leadership was at best difficult, but they too had the office of President of the United States and were regarded with the respect and dignity that that office deserves. Because it is the office that the President represents, the ideals of a nation, the vision of not what they are now, but where they are on the journey to what they could be. And when you have people of quality espousing ideas with confidence, ideas which stand up to scrutiny and examination, which are subject to democratic debate and which are designed to make things better, your country feels better, your air feels cleaner, your job is more worthwhile, your life feels of value. Freedom and democracy are not set in stone, they're not automatic. You can't try another way and expect to be able to return to them like getting a coffee during an ad break. Millions of people have died for the rights and systems America and by extension its allies have. You cannot say, oh, we'll just try this authoritarian system for a while, maybe a dictator, see if that works any better for us, because it won't be for just a while and it won't be better. Justice and laws apply to all, not just the ones you choose to apply them to. Otherwise you have no law, there is no point, you have no justice. No system in the world is perfect. But democracy is the closest the world has to a system where, in theory at least, everyone has a say. We are not hammered down by the jackboot of a single person's world, but where you can express an opinion and expect to have it agreed with or challenged, where you can be who you want to be, live how you want to live, vote how you want to vote, and defend yourself against the system if you need to. And yes, there are times when the system doesn't work as it should, but that's usually the fault of the people interpreting and using it, not the system. The system and the people can be altered when mistakes or loopholes are discovered. It can be repaired to better serve other people. It's what democracy is. It's people coming together to make it better, stronger, fairer, faster, and more secure. And yes, I'm aware that sounded like a commercial for the $6 Million Man. I'm not an American, it's not my fight. But what I do know is that if America elects Donald J. Trump, it will not get another shot at democracy. It will abandon all the values and hopes and dreams that millions of people have sacrificed for. The huddled masses will no longer look at the shining beacon on the hill, but for the searchlight of the concentration camp. Journalism will no longer be free of interference. Your life will not be to do as you wish, but to do as he wishes. There will be no hope for the most vulnerable, no help for the sick and disabled, no pity for the downtrodden. And once those people are gone, and they will be gone, another target will be found. Maybe your neighbour, maybe you. Like I said before, democracy is not a given, it's a thing to defend. Everything that happened in Europe in the 1930s is happening now in the United States. But you can stop it. You can stop it in its tracks. You can stop it without the violence or the bloodshed or the war or the suffering. You can stop it without tens of millions of lives being taken or destroyed and the repercussions for millions more across the world. You can stop it with just one vote. Democracy is precious, but it needs you to send it a message. Your way of life, maybe even your life itself, depends on where you write that message. Now, I'm going to play you a couple of clips, okay? And you can make your choice of the substantive quality of the people talking in the clips. And the first one's Donald Trump.
So they come up with this order. I won't say it because I don't like using the word bullshit in front of these beautiful children. So I won't say it. I will not say it. But this thing allows millions of people.
And imagine, he was saying that in a church, in a place of worship, and that's how he got them riled up, with children there. That's how much respect he has for Christianity or the sanctity of the church. Okay, let's move on. Here's another one of Donald Trump.
Couldn't have been too impressed with our Capitol. It looks like shit. No, have you seen what they've done to us? And we're doing a federal takeover of our Capitol.
Once again, the bad language, the obscenities gushing from him and his followers' mouths. There's no substantive quality of debate there. All he's doing is putting a viewpoint and people are just puppeting him. Another one.
We want to run against Trump. We'll do anything to run against Trump. They have the greatest line of bullshit of any group of people I've ever seen. Want to run against Trump.
I think you get the message. He's not putting forward any policies. He's not putting forward any ideas. He's not showing you how he can make life better. He's just projecting himself. It's the adoration he craves. This is Joe Biden in Normandy.
Theirs has always been the story of America. Just walk the rows of this cemetery as I have. Nearly 10,000 heroes buried side by side. Officers and enlisted. Immigrants and native-born. Different races. Different faiths, but all Americans, all served with honor when America and the world needed them most. Millions back home did their part as well. From coast to coast, Americans found countless ways to pitch in. They understood our democracy is only as strong as all of us make it together. The men who fought here became heroes. Not because they were the strongest or toughest or fiercest, although they were, but because they were given an audacious mission, knowing, every one of them knew, the probability of dying was real. But they did it anyway. They knew, beyond any doubt, there are things that are worth fighting and dying for. Freedom is worth it. Democracy is worth it. America is worth it. The world is worth it. Then, now, and always. The war in Europe didn't end for another 11 months. But here, the tide turned in our favor. Here, we proved the forces of liberty are stronger than the forces of conquest. Here, we proved that the ideals of our democracy are stronger than any army or combination of armies in the entire world. We proved something else here as well, the unbreakable unity of the Allies.
And there you have the difference between the two men. Donald J. Trump, looking to build an empire, an everlasting Reich, or Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden isn't perfect by any means, but I'd rather have a government run by somebody who can't seem to put on their own plimsolls than run by somebody who'll smash my face in with his jackboot.